Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Jennifer. So Jennifer, welcome.
Hi, Kendrick. How's it going?
Good to have you. Can you please tell us your full type, please?
Yes, I am an ESFP jumper, FFSETE, play, oh, I put sleep, but play, consume, sleep, blast. I wrote it down because I wanted to get it right, but whatever. Uh,
What
yeah.
did you think and how did you feel when you got your typing results back?
Yeah, so I pretty much knew because I got a lot of people typing me, like over 20 something people, and most of them got this same type. But when you talk to me, a lot of people see the 2 times FI. So then they think that I have FI, but no, I'm an SETE, but mainly because I was in Myers-Briggs and I thought I was an ISFJ. But then like I think I started tapping into my sleep, and so I realized, like, how come it feels like I have FI, or like even some intuition, because I have double masculine NF, so sleep. So then I looked deeper and I found OP, and then when I learned about DE and then TEFI and then feminine TE, it made a lot more sense. So I was like, yeah, I'm sold. This is it. So I pretty much knew that this was my type. And some people in the community, even though like I did the actual gathering, other people typing me video, some people prefer, the official typing. So I was like, okay, I want tribe validation. So I'm gonna go and get officially typed. And it's exactly what I think it was.
Sweet. I like your ST report there that you just did.
Yeah, I can take you on a consume story, no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, yep.
I want to talk to you first about the first thing that you already showed everybody in this interview, which is your feminine sensory. You're double feminine with feminine SE, and you were trying to type your name before our interview, and I guess you mistyped it. So, can you talk about your struggles with feminine sensory and forgetting like details and numbers and whatnot? And
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because I have 2 times OE or SE. And so like I love to, whenever I'm interested in something, like I will consume a lot of it. So like I feel like my play and consume, like it's very intertwined. When I'm interested, I'll ask people for more information, and also I'll gather a lot at once, but then I'll forget. So like if I do forget any like technical stuff during this interview, I want to disclaim, like, sorry people, I know some people are really into this and I don't want to provide any misinformation. But yeah, so even though like I consume a lot, but it's like it doesn't stick very well. Like I feel like I understand it, but then when I try to teach it, it doesn't, it's like, maybe if they start asking me questions, I'm like, let me think about that and then try to explain it. It's like it doesn't stick. So
so you also have double feminine ST play. Can you share a little bit about that double feminine ST play and what's going on there with you?
yeah, for sure. I think I'm still pretty introverted, even though my saviors are extroverted. um it's like more, I like Discord a lot because like there's always people online, especially the one that I'm in, Personality Academy PA. There's people from around the world. There's like Europeans, and while if I were up late, there's somebody up talking and stuff like that. So I will get like people talking and observing, just like taking in the conversations. And some of them get like kind of weirded out because like I pick up behaviors. Like it's very easy for me to pick up those patterns of like how people act. And so yeah, play is more passive for me. It's not all the time that it's interacting, because I do get like tired, and it's better one-on-one versus like a group of people. Because I think also when it's like so many sensory overload, then like it's hard for me to like talk what like express what I'm saying and also like take in everything that's going on and like reading facial expressions and stuff like that, it like it goes in, and then me trying to talk is like trying to narrow down what I'm trying to say. So then oftentimes it's better for me to like look off screen and not looking at people, because then it like brings in more sensory, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's play for me pretty much.
That makes perfect sense for your specific type. Um,
Yeah.
so you said that you can read people's behavior and stuff pretty well. Um, I want to talk to you about your NF. Your NF
Yeah.
is double masculine, and part of NF is like the vibe, I guess. It's sleep though, so it's a little bit interesting that you can still read the tribe's vibe even though yours is in a sleep position. Can you share a little bit about that and like what made you feel like you can still read the vibe of the tribe even though it's your NF is sleep?
It's more not like the vibe of the tribe, it's more like I start picking up their patterns and how they're like similarities that they do. And I will report it back to them, like what I pick up and observe, and they'll be like, whoa, like they don't even realize that they're doing it. And I don't know, it's fun, it's easy, it's just like that sticks for me. And yeah, that's why I think that's my path. I want to go towards psychology and like observe and do research.
Oh, are you studying psychology right now? Is that like the path you're going towards?
No, so like I started personal development March 2020, and basically I was just going along with whatever people are telling me. You know, I got my degree in accounting, but it was like, oh, you know, that's what you do. Like
Right.
everyone gets a job, everyone gets married and stuff like that. But then I like ended a relationship, and then he was an ENTJ supposedly, and he was like, what was it? You know, there's people who are like determined and like they know what they want to do. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I've been partying a lot and it's about time that I need to like figure out what I want to do. It was just like I was just going along, you know, FF, my saviors are FF, and it's just like, yeah, let's just go along. And so after I started doing some self-development, I realized that when I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher. So then I got into a program for a master's of education, and I realized, okay, maybe not, because every day I'm like talking about the mind and like I'm into psychology. So maybe counseling. And then my friend was like, why don't you try life coaching? So then because it's a shorter time and less money. And so I got a certificate in life coaching. But then while I was in that, I realized like I don't like the one-on-one aspect. I really do like just observing and then like asking a hypothesis, a question, and then like try and figure out something like breakthrough in like trauma or like attachment styles, and like kind of figuring a recipe for people who have trauma, because it starts really young. And I feel like just figuring out, okay, seeing these signs and then like having a recipe so that people can have like more space, like a creative space to, you know, do whatever, be more creative in whatever they're good at. So yeah, I am kind of transitioning and realizing like just listening to myself and not being so overwhelmed by what ifs, because I think that's what's been holding me back to just going to what I want versus like being distracted and like not blasting, I guess, you
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah, I've always found it interesting when like an EP becomes an accountant because that's like such an IJ
Oh my
job.
god.
So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you'd probably be miserable. I know Ian is an accountant too, but like, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm like, and yeah, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But he's lead ST, so no, he's not. Sorry, double activated ST. So maybe it's still okay. Like you're lead ST, so it might be still okay. But I can't see like EPs doing it all day. I think it would be like a torture, you know.
No, yeah. So like I talked to him and he was like, yeah, he could do the FE part even though he's surrounded by ST. So it works out in that aspect. but yeah, the being accurate, the pressure of the volume of work is just like not my thing. Like I want to do something that has to do with like behaviors. That's all I know for now. And
Right.
take baby steps.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
I watched when I first started OP, I watched your videos, and then you were saying like for EPs, all you have to do is like attach your reason like outside of yourself. And like that always stuck to me. Like having the reason be that, okay, it's for people. At the end of the day, it'll help them be creative. That
Right.
helps me kind of like just tie it outside of myself. Yeah. So just
I
wanted
don't
to
know.
add that.
When did I say that? I'm curious now. I was like,
You
if I
said
did,
it multiple times.
did I? Okay, okay. I don't, I don't remember because I interviewed so many people. But like, okay, so I guess your ultimate goal is to hold space for people and give them like the freedom to be themselves and pursue their
Yes.
dreams and stuff. Um,
Yeah, that's part of it.
okay. So let's talk about your NF sleep now. It's double masculine, NIFI. What I've noticed with ESFPs is ESFPs have a lot of trouble with NI unless it's masculine. So you have the masculine side, so you have access to it, and you can probably see it pretty well, and you probably believe it too, because like a lot of ESFPs with feminine NI, they don't believe it exists. But like with the masculines, you guys do exist. You do believe it exists. So can you share more about your double masculine NF sleep and how you personally experience that?
I think it how it shows up is like being introspective. I feel like I can my play consume sleep is like very tied into each other. Like I will go and OE, and then right away when I'm by myself, I will start like funneling what I'm like, either I experienced it or like I got information, and then I just start like it just kind of like narrows down to whatever I'm trying to figure out. Kind of similar to I realized this behavior thing, but it takes me a long time. Like it took me 2 years to figure this, like, okay, this is the path. But yeah, it's my demon. So like I'm still trying to like utilize it. But I think another way that it shows up is like the woo stuff. I feel like some people won't really go there with me with the being woo woo and like talking NF, but then I like talking about philosophy and like just not realistic things sometimes. It's just like thinking about thoughts, talking about thoughts. I really like that, and giving people like space. Like some people might want that st of, okay, let's have the end results. But for me, sometimes it's just like just allow people to have the time and yeah, space to figure things out for themselves. So yeah, hope that answers.
It does. Not
Okay.
completely, but it does.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you more
Yeah,
questions about it.
sure.
So that's cool that you believe in the woo stuff. I guess double masculine would make you respect that side of things. What about the code side? You know, a lot of people with NF sleep, they have a personal code. It's in the form of a quote usually. I don't know if you've heard me say it during my interviews. I don't want to. If not, then I'll give you some examples. Okay. So my girlfriend also has double masculine NF sleep like you, but she has it first. She's an INTJ jumper. So her code is um, discomfort over resentment. So I think that's a
Mhm.
really good one because, like in life, you can like hide from what's painful, but like you're gonna feel resentful when you go back home and you're by yourself, right? So I think that's a good one. But like a lot of famous people too, like Jocko Willink, his is discipline equals freedom, you know. And that one's like a good one for EPs because like EPs lack discipline, like you can probably relate to that. So can I, because we're both EPs. Um,
Yeah.
and then there's what's his name? David Goggins. He likes to use the word a callous mind, which is pretty much like you toughen yourself up so much for, like by like going through so much hardship that your mind gets all callous and then nothing can hurt you anymore. So it's like that's like an awesome one as well. And then Steve Jobs, his is be curious, be foolish, which I think is good for him as an IJ because it's like be curious means like be open to like new experience, and IJs are like close-minded, right? So it's like a good one because it opens up his mind. And then be foolish means like, don't be afraid to make a mistake, because like mistake is chaos. And as an IJ, you're scared of chaos. They're scared of chaos. So I think that's like a really good one. So you personally, do you have any code or like quote that you follow and you kind of like use it as like a guiding to help guide you when you make life decisions and stuff?
Mm, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but one thing that's very similar to what you're talking about is just like, it's pretty similar to a tidal wave. Basically, we're all meant to learn whatever lesson we're supposed to learn, and life will give you that lesson over and over again until you learn it. So that's my kind of like, um, I don't know, lesson for everyone more than it's a code. But yeah, I like people to have freedom more than like to say one thing. But I would also say to always remind myself to take baby steps, because like sometimes I'm so overwhelmed about, okay, how do I get there? Or like having the pressure of doing it perfectly, that I like hold myself back because of like the what ifs. So like baby steps are it's very important. So
With your NF sleep, do you also plan what you're gonna feel into the future? Like, so you make sure that you do the right things, or like do you like pre-process something bad that could happen so that when when it does happen, you don't freak out? It's like, is that something that you personally do with your double masculine NF sleep, or not so much?
um I'm not sure if it relates, but I do like sometimes if it's a gathering that I don't really care for, then I'll like imagine, oh, it's so tiring kind of thing. Um, there hasn't been a point where like I pre-plan it so that I don't. I just like go, and sometimes it turns out better than I think, because just you just go do it. That's the skibby way.
Yeah.
But um but no, I don't pre-plan to prevent myself doing like something. Yeah, I can't
I
remember.
feel like for EPs, we're not really scared of the bad thing happening. I think it's like part of the deal, and it's kind of fun too. It's when it does happen. So it's not really that bad. I know it's bad to say that, but like as an EP, when like drama comes, I'm like, it's kind of interesting. I'm not, I'm not like, you know, like trying to
Yeah,
run away from it like the IJs do. But I think the IJs are like secretly they love it too. They just don't want to, admit it.
I
Um,
guess it depends. Like, on the mindset, right? Sometimes it's like for me, it's like I'll try to figure out whatever the problem is and then like help people overcome it, or just like try to be positive, like you're saying, like, oh, it's how you view it. It's fun, or, oh, it's a lot of, I don't know how the IJ see it, but yeah.
right. Let's go with your consume now. Your consume is double activated. It's SF. It's a take along kind of story, but it's also external self-awareness. So can you share your experience with that? Because like you have double activated FI as a result of like the sleep and the consume, right? So how do you personally experience that?
Um, I would say that before I would be a lot more self-conscious. Um, I feel like that SE piece of always like being aware of like the spectrum of people too. I don't know, not people, but like the differences. Like I'm always, it's in the back of my mind, like, oh, this person has that. And, it's like, it's just there, even though I don't do it on purpose. And then I also like compare myself with these things. And I think before that, unawareness of myself comparing myself in that spectrum made me kind of like have a high expectation, and that was kind of like hindering my growth, because I was like putting myself in this space where like, yeah, you think you're on this spectrum and people are here, but then also there's other people here, and you developed yourself to get to this point. So like it's kind of a work in progress in terms of like being aware of myself in the spectrum of compare and contrast.
Gotcha. I noticed something about you as we're talking. It's like you're super DE, even though you're only single activated with a DE. you are like
Yeah.
super tribe oriented.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel that way personally, but that's like kind
Mhm.
of like the vibe I'm getting from you. I'm like, you're single activate T, but you're so tribe
Yeah.
oriented, you know?
I feel like, okay, and that's why I totally thought that I was an ISFJ. I totally thought I was FE. But I think maybe also because being female and also being our Asian culture, it's like kind of you always like orient yourself like to the tribe. That's how I feel. So I think that even though I'm single activated TE, I think my upbringing kind of developed me in this way where like, oh, and I'm an only child. So like if I'm not being considerate, then I'll get in trouble. So it kind of like developed me in that sense, if that makes sense. But it's my savior, so
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're high play too. So, um,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I can see that like tribe above self plus culture, and then it like enhances it. Yeah, totally get it. Um, I think a lot of self above tribe, like Asians are also tribe above self, or at least they fake it. So, because like you kind of have to as part of the culture. So I kind of get where you're coming from when it comes to that. Um, let's cover your last animal now, which is blast. So your blast last, and your blast is NITE. It's NT. So there's multiple parts that I want to address here. So the first one is the NT side, which is like the figuring things out part of things. Uh, do you find yourself struggling with like figuring out a solution to like a problem?
I think because like my play consume really helps me with that. Like, so currently in between I am doing Uber and like while I'm picking up riders, I'm like talking to them and like I pick up different people and like I'll talk to them about what's going on and they'll give me information. Like one good thing someone an engineer suggested to me, he was like, why don't you like save up money first so you're not in debt and there's like no rush. And then this nurse, she was like, well, why don't you just take one class instead of like commit to a whole program, and then that will also help you like figure out direction you want as you're taking that one class. And I was like, wow, okay, so like my skivviness like does help me find a framework. Um, and I feel like my sleep also, when I'm by myself, I like think up of ways and like um I don't know, it does work, but then the tea part, sometimes I'm stuck though. So it took me 2 years. So I'm still figuring it out.
It's like a school on wheels with your Uber thing. Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Um, um,
I've considered too, like maybe I should do like a recording. Hey, do you mind? Like on the side, I'm like doing YouTube and we could just like record our conversation and like it'd be interesting because it's like random people
yeah,
and from different walks of life. But yeah, side story.
yeah.
Yeah.
My NE is telling me, it's like, what if you get in trouble with like,
I know. I
the
think
app?
about that too.
They'll like report it's like this girl's making me, it's like recording me, putting it on YouTube, like
I know. I thought about it too. So
yeah.
just fun what ifs.
Yeah, but I can see it also working in a sense, like kind of like Humans of New York, like when you interview people, just because like when you drive people on Uber, I'm guessing you hear all sorts of stories, which is super interesting. So
Yeah.
it could also be like that, but then you would definitely need to make sure that they're not gonna rat you out, So
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Yeah. I thought about it.
let's talk about the blast part of NT blast, NITE. So you're giving advice or you're teaching people based on something you've organized. So it has to be organized first. Cannot be like SETE, random shit that you pulled in and you give it to them. So what's your progress like with teaching people in that manner where like it's super organized before you give them an advice, like really well thought out?
Yeah, so on the spot that I can't like if it's on the spot, it's most likely I consume like come along with me. Here's what I learned, and it's not like organized. or it'll be more like experiential. Here, do this with me, and I'll show you. But if I were to go away and like think about how to blast, I can do that. Like I've done some YouTube videos. Um, and so I feel like in the written form I can, but like if it's with people, then I can't. So yeah.
Gotcha. I guess you also went to school, so I guess you did some presentations. So you can do it with like enough preparation. It's just not your default.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super play-like though when I do it. So
Yeah, but the good thing about play presentations, they're more fun because sometimes they're just like doing those freaking presentation is boring as hell, right? So
yeah.
like the play is good. It adds like that, injects that energy into the presentation.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about your tester and visual. So your tester first, which is like smell. So that's also taste. And then second one's visual. So can you talk about like you have double activity consume, so it's gonna be like super aggressive, I'm gonna guess. Your aggression when it comes to like trying different smells, different tastes, maybe perfumes or candles or food. Like what's your experience been like with that?
Oh yeah, so definitely like my relief for a day, like if I'm doing something, if I'm working all day, there's like different periods where I do different things, but there was a period where I would just go in the grocery store and like read labels and like, oh, look, that's a new flavor. Oh, that's a new item. And I love trying different foods, like food, I love different foods. So yeah, I would say that side of tester I experience. Um, the smell thing, not really. I mean, like, I feel like I can, if someone were to give me a smell and like try and determine what it is, I feel like I'm really good with my nose. And then hearing, kind of, if it's like danger, then I can like hear danger sounds. Um, but yeah, um, I would say that's my tester stuff.
Do you have trouble with body movements because you're double feminine? So it's like the kinesthetic stuff hard for you, or it's still okay because you're lead SE, So it's like what's
Like doing stuff, or what do you
yeah,
mean?
like if you work out, like you need to have like the proper form, for example. Like let's say you're
Yeah.
doing a squat or like a deadlift or whatever. Like I don't know if you work out or not. I don't know if
Yeah,
that
I love lifting.
okay, yeah.
So
So when you're lifting weights, like do you find like you could pick up the movement really easily and you can do it like with perfect form, or is it like was this as a challenge at first?
I think I could pick up pretty easily because I feel like that's a part of play or my skivviness. I don't know. Like if I observe it or if I do it myself, I can do it, like pick it up. So I don't know.
Okay.
What does that say?
No, I mean it's weird because like I interview a bunch of people and some people say, "Oh no, I have zero body awareness," But those people might be like more like the low SE people because your SE is high, right? So even though it's feminine, it's still like really high. So I don't think it's gonna be like challenging for you. But I think like maybe for like the INTJs, like the lifting's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with my body, if it's like feminine sensory. But I don't think
Well,
that's completely true though, because I've seen people who are like feminine sensory INTJs live okay. What happened to your life?
oh,
Okay,
my light
okay. But
disappeared.
anyways, yeah, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so like before, my last elective in college, I was like, okay, I always thought people like hip hop was cool. So I like challenged myself. I always thought that I was uncoordinated. And so I was like, you know what? This is my last class. Let's just have fun and also see if it's really true. Just put myself out there. And so, like, during that class, it was so cringy because we had to perform and like I was not flowy or anything. But like a year later, in like a more comfortable context, I was more flowy. So I feel like it's a learned thing. Like it's your mind. Like if you think that you're not flowy, I feel like anyone can really move. They can learn, but you're stopping yourself if you don't really try and believe that you can do it. So um yeah, and with gym too, I didn't like gymming. My friends would go gym. I was like, bye. Let me know where you guys eat afterwards. And then I don't know. I decided I want to learn how to lift, and then I love it now. It's like my sport. So um, it's a learned thing. I believe you can learn to be like kinetically fluid. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's hard. It's hard. Like I know you're saying that, and like I feel like it's almost like a person thing because I work in fitness and like I've had
Yeah.
like most clients I feel like they eventually learn, but I vividly remember I had this one chick, like I was training this one girl, she's Indian, and like she had no body awareness, like she didn't know how to move anything, and I don't even know what to do. It's like there's like she just can't move anything properly, So I think it's feminine sensory, but I don't know if it's like low sensory or it's like a person thing. This person is just having trouble with physical movements,
Yeah.
because like I've seen people with feminine sensory, they're okay, even if it's fourth function, it's okay. So I don't know, whatever. I'm not gonna try to figure it out. It only happened once. So anyways, let's go to your visual now. So you're visual as well. That's your second sexual modality. So can you share a little bit about your visual memory and like learning through like what you see with your eyes?
Yeah, definitely just through observing people, like seeing people move or like behaviors, then I feel like I can learn in that sense. And I feel like I learn best through audio though. Like I can listen to podcasts and YouTube videos and like I can pick it up if it's something I'm interested in. And then the visual part would just add on to it, but the audio part is more important.
Are you sure you're not audio kinesthetic? I'm just kidding.
What would that be?
Like
Like
MF,
the
like
MF?
yeah, SEFI. But I mean same, but like you would have double masculine SF. That's what it would mean. But like, because like like why is your audio so good? I'm not saying
I
it
don't
cannot.
know.
I'm not saying it cannot be good. Most double feminists have they're decent with audio, but like usually when I interview a double feminine person, when they don't like listening to audiobooks or podcasts because they don't pick up the stuff. So when you say that you pick it up so easily, I'm like, that sounds like an audio thing, But maybe
I
you
don't
have like a superpower because like I remember David Chan did say like certain types can somehow use other sexual modalities no problem, even though that's not theirs. So that could be like a special Jennifer thing.
I feel like it has to do with like my interests. So like if it's something I'm not interested in, then like I'll have to re-listen to it more than one time. Or if it's too technical, I have to re-listen to it. But then if it's like explained in a way that I can pick it up, I can just listen and then like, okay, I understand what that is. Yeah.
I see. Just repetition for you then.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
all right. So for the last part of our interview, before we wrap this up, I want to leave this to you to have like an open floor, and talk about anything about yourself that you would like to discuss. Because I asked you all the questions that I have ready, but you emailed me about this interview, so I feel like there's like something you wanted to share to the tribe. So I
Yeah.
want to leave this to you right now. So what would you like to share to everyone about yourself?
Oh yeah. So I feel like for me, I like watched a bunch of your videos. Like I watched a bunch of ESFPs and I thought might have been an ESTP. And I feel like if you think that you're like a similar type, because there are like two male versions of this type on your channel, and I felt like I didn't super relate. Like there's something, even with Ian, I related some things with him because we are SEDE. But yeah, I just wanted to provide another kind of OE for anyone who's considering this type. And yeah, that was why I wanted to talk to you, so that there's information for the tribe to like figure themselves out, because that was it for me. I just wanted to kind of figure myself out. And yeah, and if you have my type, I feel like, okay, this is like a misconception. I feel like a lot of people feel like, oh, I have blast, and like I need to learn to blast, but you got to just be patient and like give yourself like that compassion. And like a lot of people that are celebrities that are typed like similar, some of them took a long time to get to wherever they're at. So like, don't be so hard on yourself. And maybe what if you're like 40 and you finally figure it out? It's okay. Like you figured it out eventually, and just like enjoy the process, and like don't be so hard on yourself just because you see that there are people who can blast or whatever. It's just not your journey. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, I like that message because it is true. Most people don't use their fourth animal in their 40s anyway, so it's like normal. So it's like, yeah, don't beat
Yeah.
yourself up. So yeah, that's a good message. Um, and I think the good thing too is like they're seeing like a female version of this type, because like you said, there's two males already. So you show, because like I think Dave and Chan are talking about like the gender does make a big difference. Even though you're the same type, you could be completely different just because of your gender. So yeah, thanks for coming out and being a representation of this specific type, you know.
Yeah. And I saw like Abby's and Candace, they had higher blast, and like I loved hearing them because like I have similar experiences as them, but it's just like it's not the exact type. And I just wanted to like see something that's similar to me. So
Yeah, Abby is feminine FI, so I yeah, there's
it's
like a huge difference between you guys, even though
yeah.
you're both play, consume, sleep, blast. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
All right, Jennifer,
cool.
we'll wrap up the interview here. So thanks for coming out again and sharing more about yourself and your type. So take care and yeah, good luck to your journey.
Thank you. Thank you for putting out time. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Bye.